and welcome to Office Hours Lamber. I'm Amber, and this is Office Hours. I'm also 30 and slept on my neck wrong, so I am in pain. Aging has not been kind to me, but this is the fourth week of the month, so we're in the community call. I'm going to make sure my audio's working. Hello, and welcome to... Which it is. And then we're going to get to the community to be called on. And that's me, double time. There we go. Hide self view. Hello, Miss Esther. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Peachy Keen Jelly Bean. I think my audio's working. I'm going to check real quick. We'll see. How are things going? Are you still in Canada or have we moved?
No, I'm still in Canada.
Oh, nice.
I have moved from my apartment back into my parents' house temporarily.
Okay. So we're
So that
in
all my
progress.
yeah. Tomorrow I go to Halifax for a wedding.
Ooh, fun.
Come back Saturday, and then I fly out to the UK on next Wednesday.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, it's so soon. Side note, Emily, you're in here twice, and I don't know if that's on purpose. I can kick the non-video if you want me to.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Remove. Don't report. Okay. Now there's just two of us. Okay, cool. You could still hear me?
Cool. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let me check the audio. That's on purpose. I can kick the non-video. Perfect. Audio's working. We are live. Fantastic. It's the end of August, and I don't know about you guys, but I am burnt out. I'm glad it took me eight months to get here, but man, I am just wheezing. Eric's joining here shortly. I'm gonna have him join. Eric, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in 10 years. How are you doing?
Yo. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Esther. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
I was just complaining about how I'm burnt out, and it took until month 8 to be burnt out. I'm pretty proud, but I'm also dying very slowly. So let's do a little round table. I saw Esther, you and Emily's report back. Emily, I'm so impressed with you. You ran 15K in one go.
Yeah. Took forever.
God bless.
So today I can't walk. Today my ankle is unhappy with me.
But you're pushing it to the limit. I'm so impressed. And
I learn how to do 6 more.
True. But I saw you were saying something about potentially competing or doing a race.
Yeah. So last year I was registered for a race in November. And in the things that were very lucky is I had bought the deferral package. So when I broke my ankle, all I had to do was write in and say, yeah, I'm not going to run this year.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, perfect. You're registered for 2025.
I see. Okay, so this is just something that we preliminarily signed up for. But how exciting! That's like the underdog story of a generation. I mean, going from broken to spoken.
I'm gonna need help. I'm gonna need a T-shirt.
Ooh, I'll buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some sort of design as to show what happened in a year.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, and this is in November.
Yeah, at the end of November. So I gotta figure out a T-shirt design.
It's fun. Okay, well, if you only make one T-shirt, fine. But if you make multiple T-shirts, I would like to purchase one in honor of your strife. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, goal-wise, I see tough with the kids being home, a lot of interruptions, and the heat wave with making training difficult. But overall, I mean, we got 5 out of 5 stars. So good month.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think I've got to still have a bunch of stuff to do this week to wrap things up. Just a lot of things that were like scheduled for this week or required the whole month. But I think I'm doing I'm pretty much on track with what I wanted to do. So happy with that. I did not get too overwhelmed
Oh, that's so good.
or derailed from vacation. So there was
That's
that.
impressive.
So,
Cool. All right. Well, Esther, how are things going in your world?
Just crazy busy. Everything's busy. Yeah,
I feel
like I
that.
said, I moved this weekend. I'm getting ready to move to England, and I have a wedding to go to this week in a different province. So, that's-
Just a lot of moving.
yeah,
And then I think I saw you're sick as well, which I'm imagining
yeah,
took some steam out of the sails.
yeah. I had a cold that just kind of knocked me out. I slept for 2 full days.
Yep.
I didn't really have time to sleep for 2 full days.
But your body decided we're going to
Yeah.
sleep for 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, it
So-
always comes in the middle of stuff. I felt very
Of course it
similarly
does.
last week. Yeah. Yeah. And like, in terms of like, I mean, next month, well, actually for both of you, I saw that MEWC or some training is in your horizons, which my next month is also Excel esports training. Well, actually, Esther, I saw that you made it into some sort of the finals for UK, right?
Yeah.
Woo! How
Yeah.
exciting. Oh my gosh, how
Yes.
fun. And the finals are coming up next.
Yeah.
this
Two
weekend.
days after I arrive in London.
Perfect. You'll be there for the final. Awesome.
There's a reason I'm arriving when I'm arriving.
Yeah. You were like, let's push this date up. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yes, next month I'll be on my Excel training game as well. Because I positioned it very specifically right before. Not that I think it's going to move the needle, but I'll at least say that I did it. Eric, how are things going? I usually our usual Sunday, Thursday cadence, so we've been a little off flow lately with the traveling.
I know. I feel like I've been so out of it. I can totally relate to the burnout. There's all kinds of personal things going on that I've, normally would be begrudgingly spending time on, but right now it's kind of like they're an attractive alternative to focusing on things that I should be doing.
Yep.
But yeah, very, very busy. Kind of struggling to keep all of my people busy. I'm like super busy, but some of my team isn't busy. So it's like I'm having to put my business development hat on, which is like my least favorite hat to ever wear. But yeah, it's going good. We're about to release a new release of OA Robot. Has a number of improvements to it. So that's exciting but stressful because it's like whenever you put a new version out there, you hope that it fixes more bugs that it creates.
Yeah.
And it used to be that with the Road to Las Vegas was just once a month. And so it was always good to just put out a new release right after Road to Las Vegas because then you have plenty of time to test it. But now it's like all throughout the month, there's like UK, there's Brazil, there's like something every week. So there's no good time to put it out there that you're not putting it out right before somebody's, event.
Yeah.
I wish that I could spend way more time practicing cases. I still haven't really spent hardly any time in the new esports environment. So, which I know we're using on Thursday. So, yeah, but I'm qualified, so I can relax.
Yes. I was a part of the beta testers, and I never was available when other people were, and I didn't look far enough in to see like, oh, can I just open a battle and do it by myself, or like that would be nice because like a lot of times I'm just competing against myself anyway, so
yes,
I just need
that's what I want to do.
That's what I did this morning. I said, don't, it says like, do you want to list it for other people? And I said, like, no, just.
Is that an option now? Because that was not an option before.
Yeah, no, it appears now you can just not listed
Not
or something. I
listed.
forget
Oh,
exactly what
perfect.
the option is.
That's what I need because
Cool.
I don't want to like have people see me in there testing by playing against myself, a team of one or whatever.
Yeah, it was really
Yes.
embarrassing. Yeah, it's good because it was really embarrassing because it was like easy case. I got through level 3. I'm like, what?
Right.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that because especially for this upcoming month, I want to really get into this, like into using it and like fiddling around with it and like I really like that because if you think about I'm not that I'm talking about the business of MEWC, but like really all of the people that really get into it, we pay for like the season and then we download all the cases and then we share it amongst ourselves. So I think financially for them to continue growing and continue like being able to like financially support it as a business, I think makes a lot of sense as a subscription model. And it's a $20 I'm willing to spend, especially for like the organized and like the organization of it and like how many cases are now just available without like having to find someone with some case that found somewhere. And so I think it's like a very logical step forward and like I'm excited for it. And so it's also nice that there's like easy ways to be able to compete at any time or, you know, structure to it. And then like all the points and stuff. So I'm excited to learn more about it here this next month.
So just a
But
note, what I found I liked this morning is that while you get the feedback, it's not like right in your face as when you're doing the thing and the little green lights show up.
yeah,
So you have to like go, look, oh, actually I have a mistake. So it's a little bit more close to the real experience. Whereas if you've
Yeah.
like
that's
I
good.
had, missed some edge cases and yeah, I didn't go back to look and there were the, two wrongs there because as opposed to when they're right there in front of you, you fix them right away before you move on. So.
Yeah. And I think that is a really important note of it because it's easy to get not complacent, but like lean into the having the green dots to be like, oh, I'm on the right track. Like it pushes you forward faster instead of like having to sit with your thoughts for a minute. So that's awesome. Cool. Well, the theme of this month is long-term planning and strategy. And what a horrible time to talk about that, especially when you're already burnt out and like dying. But unfortunately, we're getting closer to this month was my intro to financial modeling month. And so when I was going through, I did the training on full stack modeler. And then I went and talked to Giles. And at the beginning of that course is talking about the who, what, when, why, how of a financial model and like why are we making it, who's it for, what's the actual purpose of it. And so I know with us it's going to take this month me learning the foundations so next month I can start logically creating tools so that when we get to October or like September, no, I don't think I know words right now, October, I can actually be able to put these models, create the models so that when we're doing our budgeting for 2026, I'm like prepared for it. So I know that it's supposed to happen in this trajectory. And this is also all of my personal bias of it's hard. I like talking about whatever's most difficult in my life at the time for the community calls. So haha, you guys are my personal therapist this month. So what we did is we did this thing called Investiversary, where the equity team for Good Trade Depot all came together. It was super cute, loved it. It was nice to have like everyone come together and do our long-term planning. And so I led them through kind of my peachy profitability framework of like aligning on goals, assessing how far away from the goals we are, and then creating 1 year, 3 year, and end or like North Star level objectives. So it was really cool to do that kind of sticky note exercise and bring together the brains and like really like do the SWOT analysis. It's like business management tools that I used to think were nonsense. And now I'm like, oh wait, they're actually really effective at bringing everyone's ideas out. So we did that. We did that Monday, Tuesday last week. I get to Wednesday and I'm like basically taking the paper and putting it into digital so I eventually could do something with it. And I sat and stared at that screen for hours. I was like, oh, I'm trapped. I felt suffocated in my own plan that I just made. And so a lot of today's conversation is going to be kind of more around, and I sent some of the questions out early, but as I talk, of course, new questions are going to come up. But what I recognized is I was feeling trapped. So then what do you do when you feel trapped or the ADHD feels trapped? I was like, I need to move houses. I need maybe move apartments, or maybe throw all my furniture out, or maybe clear out the clutter. I was like, maybe let's start there. So I started clearing out all sorts of clutter, which led to, I had a TV that's usually behind me, and I moved that to be now a second monitor. So now I can swivel it and I can use it when I'm like cooking, and it's great. But also we have on display Penny Peach, compliments of Emily. Thank you so much for, did you make that or did you find that?
I did. I made
That's
it.
literally so impressive. I'm going to go grab her real quick. So we have, I decided we're naming her Penelope because Peachy Profitability, her name's Penny. So we have little Penny Peach, so cute. And your letter was so kind. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for a reason. And so I was like having a full panic, but, now we can proudly display her on my little amber shrine back there. But anyway, so I finally reorganized. And then Thursday, my body was like, oh, you're not ready. And then I completely fell asleep for a whole day. So Esther, I completely sympathize with. My body was like, you're done. We're done. You're not going in. This is it, the end. So anyways, I want to talk about not only like career, long-term planning, but like personal long-term planning. And so I balancing, oh, my mom said Penny is the cutest. Mom, thanks for watching. When I guess this isn't really a question, but like, what is you guys' experience with feeling trapped by your long-term plan and being empowered that you're on a path that makes sense? Like, where do you fall on the spectrum of loving and hating planning, like longer term, like 1, 3, 5 years out?
Yeah. I'm an over planner. I have so many plans. What I think is, and you know, and I do this too, right? Is you get bogged down with, okay, this is my long-term plan, and therefore, in order to make this happen, you know, this has to happen this year, and then therefore I should be working on this. But then again, you get to these days in which it's like, you know, you're overwhelmed and you've got to take care of yourself first, as opposed to doing all of these things. And that's okay. Like, you know, if I get a week behind on a 5-year goal, like honestly, it's not a big deal. What's important is that I'm not saying, okay, I can't this week, so therefore I'm going to not do anything for the next 6 months on it, right? But right now I can't, and that's fine. And so like on my board, and I have it in like I have a nice Trello board with like all these, you know, images of different things that I want to, you know, that are important to me and that I want to eventually do. And then when I'm doing like my annual plan, like I'll go in and pick some of these things that I want to make happen this year. And so, yeah, so I put like a lot of pressure on myself sometimes to get things done in the month or whatever that I've scheduled them. But it's important to realize like these are 5-10 year goals, some of them. Like it's not, a week is not a big deal.
Yeah.
As long as you're just making progress when you can. So I think there's like a what is it? You know, you overestimate, you underestimate how much you can do in a year, but you overestimate how much you can do in a day or something like that, right? So yeah, so I think it's just important to be realistic, to you know, set the bar high so that you move forward on it. But again, don't beat yourself up.
Absolutely. Matt, thanks for joining. Matt's my business partner at Good Trade Depot. So I was talking about my overwhelm and what we were talking about today. He's like, I probably should hop on for that. I'm like, hell yeah, get on in here. Matt, are you feeling overwhelmed with the long-term plan?
I'm feeling something of the sort of overwhelmed. I wouldn't say not overwhelmed, anxious, more so. But it's more so, is anxious and overwhelmed the same?
No,
I would say,
different.
yeah. Um, I would say it that way. Yeah, anxious, because I feel like it's a focal point of decision making that will have a very large impact, and a lasting impact on the future. So it's
So you're
anxious. It's
so you're
more.
saying like in the matter of deciding what the long-term objectives are, like we could go on two different North Stars, but if we choose, we follow one and then we're off trajectory quite a bit, and then we figure out, oh shit, that was not quite the way. And the
Yeah.
nice thing is we can always pivot back to the other North Star. It's just more of the deciding of which of the two is kind of I would say
And
there's like,
that kind of ties in with like how much more, obviously we want to put a lot of effort into everything, but we've been putting a lot of effort in lately.
yeah,
So I like, it's just a question of, okay, well, we made that decision. If we need to pivot, you have to pivot. Pivoting, I mean, nature of the game, but you still necessarily don't want to pivot if we don't have to. And if we make the
yeah,
right choice, then we wouldn't have to. But end all be all. It's not you know, the
the end of
world's
the
not going
world.
to end. It just
Yeah.
pivots and you just keep chugging on.
Hell yeah, brother.
Not that I want to keep chugging on,
I
but
know.
you know,
The train's on the tracks.
yeah.
Emily, back on so you said something that made me think of another conversation we have had. So you're saying like if 1 week goes by, no biggie. We can like that's just 1 week of 5 years. I think my brain is starting to tap back into Eric. You remember when we were talking about the monkey on the back and we're waiting for the monkey to get off so we can like get back, like it's like, oh, the monkey's on break, I can get some stuff done. It's feeling like lately, or the more bogged down I get, the monkey stays around longer. And so I give myself grace for the week, and then the week goes by, and then 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, oh my God. Thankfully, it's always within 4 weeks I'll come back around. But the progress I'm making in those like when the monkey's away for its break, by the time it kind of comes back around, I'm like, oh, I'm not in those motivation sprints. I'm not getting enough done to actually keep pace with like my really high expectations of myself in the 5 years, which, like you were saying, setting the bar extremely high so that when I land among the stars, I'm still super stoked because I'm making all this progress. But I'm kind of toggling between like giving grace, but then also remembering the discipline it takes to actually grow organizations that's necessary. Which is why I'm excited to talk to you guys today. But Eric, where are you falling? How are we feeling?
In terms of long-term planning,
What's our relationship with long-term planning? Is it? It sounded like with the business development side.
I am a perpetual overachiever dreamer. So I
Mm.
am constantly planning and imagining things that I want to do that are more than what is possible. So
Yup.
Yeah, I feel you.
I have the typical ADHD skill or lack thereof of estimating how much effort things are going to take. So I have all of these things that I want to do, and I think that they're possible. And I quickly realized that months have gone by, and I don't actually do all of the things that I plan on doing. So,
I feel
and I
that so
also
deep.
change my mind constantly on priorities. So whatever I think is the priority today is different like in a month from now. So I jump back and forth between things. Um, that's kind of my relationship with it. So I feel like I get a lot done, but I don't tend to finish as many things as I want to.
I feel that so deeply it hurts my soul.
Yeah.
I have so many follow-up questions, but thankfully those follow the trajectory of some of the questions I have. So we will be circling around to that. Absolutely. Miss Esther, where's your relationship at with long-term planning?
I don't know how to do long-term planning. It's just not even on my radar. Right now, long-term planning is like maybe a year out from now. And even that, I don't really know. I'm just here.
I feel that so much.
Long for the ride.
I my scope used to be like planning a month out, and then it's extended to 6 months out. And the fact that Office Hours Lambert is still following the path that I created in December 3rd last year, I'm honestly shocked. So this will be the longest term plan I've actually completely successfully carried out. But it's also taken me many times and many systems and many iteratives and many tools and many configurations of people, process, routine, and technology, like to get here. And so now I have like the tools to be able to like actually create at least a 1-year plan. But sometimes the 2, 3, 4-year feels kind of suffocating in like imagining Taylor Swift plans her life out 2 to 8 years out in advance, you know, with all these little Easter eggs and albums and colors and things. And so imagining being locked into something for 2 full years, and like obviously I've got my business now, and if I would have imagined back July 2023, I don't think I could have ever planned that I'd be right here right now. And so that's where I'm like, well, I'm not a super fortune teller. So now trying to plan a business out 3-5 years in the future, I'm like, I'm full of nonsense. Like next week, everything could fall apart or explode. Who could be sure? But anyway, so I feel that. Speaking of which, oh my God, my light is right in the way. So in terms of strategic planning, and I think Emily, Eric, since you guys are parents, strategic planning also looks like life planning. So like you guys have kids. So that was 18 years that you knew kind of exactly there's going to be children in your house. There's going to be activities to be attended to. There's going to be eventual college trip. Like that is like no one can prepare you for all the nuances of parenthood. But like in terms of life planning, it kind of gives you a guidelines of like puberty is going to happen in 12 to 15 years. Like we see that coming. And so there's certain things you can kind of prepare for. But my mom just said, they say when you make plans, God laughs, and preach it, sis. Feel that. My next question is, how does your approach to long-term planning differ from your work life and your personal life? Or are they pretty similar or different?
What personal life?
I know.
That's a very big blur there.
That is tough. Emily, you got it. I feel like you're the most fit for this question.
I think like they're similar, but they're kind of just different tweaks. So the way, like in terms of my personal life, I've actually used a lot the framework, the level 10 framework, which basically, if you don't know it, it's like all the like different aspects of your life, like, you know, your home and your family and your relationships and your, you know, your social life and finances and all the different parts of your life. And there's in different, some versions have 8, like, and they usually do a pie graph. And then you sort of say like, you know, for each of those, what would the level 10 life be? Like, what would be perfect? And it's what's perfect for you. If you don't want to live in a mansion, it doesn't mean like this super fancy house is, but maybe it's like, no, I just want a little bungalow, but it's paid off. That's my level 10 house. Okay, perfect, whatever. And you say, okay, this is my dream for this aspect. This would be perfect. And then you just sort of think like, where am I with relation to that goal? And then you can sort of say, okay, which areas of my life, you know, and then what would make that? So maybe you say, you know what, I don't know, I need a dog. I need to, you know, right now my house is making me unhappy. I can't afford to buy a new house, but you know what? Maybe if I just painted the walls, I would feel happier. So that you can do that would maybe, do that. Or I really need to reconnect with this person more often because they make me happy or whatever it is. So it sort of gives you an idea of like, look, this is a really weak. So I guess the theory here is that if you're not reasonably well balanced in all of them, like if your health is all of your aspects of your life are really good, but your health is really bad, then, things are not going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to try to get them all out. So what do you need? What would you specifically need to move those, to move the needle on those? Get you closer to 10.
That is really cool. And I shall be completing my level 10 framework and reporting back because I think I've done this in like
books and stuff on it too.
Yeah. I haven't heard of it in this way. And like similar to like the business planning we just did, we said, well, like the North Star, similar to like a level 10 business. And so, I guess I've looked at my life in a little bit of a way, but I've looked at it so granularly, like what in my current month is not going so well. Like if I'm eating junk or if I'm not moving or if I'm not sleeping well, but I never looked at it in terms of like a long-term plan personally, other than I see PG profitability is kind of a 50-50 personal and professional. So I kind of rope them all in together because it's all personal skills I want. But like in terms of, I think similar to when I did my values exercise, I just had never taken the time to actually write my values down. So I couldn't live by them because I didn't know them. So similarly, I can't strive towards a goal I don't know exists in my like level 10 life. So cool.
Yeah. So it sort of tells you like one of the things I really liked when I was little was, for some reason, like I don't actually listen to a lot of music, but I used to play music, right? I was in at one point I was in 3 bands.
Whoa.
Like at school and played the piano and all sorts of things. And I haven't done any of that since like I graduated basically. And this is something that, I feel is missing in terms like I'd like to do that again. And again, there's seasons of, your life in which, fitting a piano into your house is appropriate and some in which it's more difficult.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, it's fine. But I know sort of like with the kids moving on, it's like, well, you know what? I think that this might be coming up, say like in the next 3 years or something, then it's going to be time to, get back into that. And that's something that I think will make me happy to do it. They always say, the things you liked when you're a kid are probably some of the things you want to get back in your life.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Side note on the music is I saw in Jack's her feedback this month is that she's been exploring music as well. And so she said like a lot of inspiration has been coming to me through music. She's been playing with the Suno AI music generation, but she's also been like writing songs and adding instruments in some different styles. So I think there could be a cool conversation betwixt you two, or like seeing like, I don't know, cool. I also have this weird itch for music lately. Like, I played clarinet in high school, was not good at it, but like I still liked being around musical, creative people that like, because other than like entertainment, there is no like, maybe there's some like, homeopathic vibrational good things for the health with music, but like really it's just generally have a good time, have fun, creative energy. It doesn't have like a real big objective to be messed with. So I kind of like objectiveless hobbies that have no optimization. It's just you do it, you have fun, good time. So I'm interested, and I'll probably follow back up around the music thing here shortly.
There's also the connection part, right? When you're sitting next to somebody and you've got to tune with them, right? Like you've got to, that's, it's more practical to just play piano at home, but when, playing clarinet in the band is different. It's a social aspect and it's a collaborative effort. So it gives you other things as well.
Yeah. No, that's important. I think I often forget that there's other, like, I forget the social aspect and like the like connection and community part of things a lot. And so it is kind of nice to be intentional about it. But how cool. Eric, personal versus professional long-term planning. Do you feel the same kind of priorities shifting in your personal life like you do your professional, or do you think things are a little bit steadier?
This is a depressing topic.
Oh
I
God,
feel I feel like
we can avoid.
I prioritize everything around work, and then my personal life is I try to do everything that comes up that I want to do personal. So I don't like avoid personal things, but I don't allocate for them. And then whenever I do the personal things, it's infringing into what I had planned for my work life. Um, so
Mm.
I always make time for personal, but I never plan for it. So it's my personal life happens to me. It's not me making it happen. So most of my friends are the ones who want to spend time with me. Not,
You're just so
I'm not,
popular.
yeah, it's not that there's not many of them. It's just that I'm not very good at thinking outside of like, my work passions are also my personal passions, and they're somewhat antisocial. So
That is super
so
important to
I
say,
have a lot
though.
of virtual friends. I have a lot of virtual
Yes.
friends, like but the in real life friends are mostly people who are friends of my wives. They're also my friends because we're couple friends,
Hmm.
but I don't do stuff with them outside of we doing things as couples or family events or whatnot. So that's
Absolutely.
something that I feel like if my life were different, I would focus more on. And I feel like someday I'm going to wake up and regret that I didn't spend more time focusing on my personal life. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I think it's important to bring up, though, because I think more people struggle with that than they care to admit. And I similarly, like, people always come first in my life. Like if someone needs something or if someone wants to see me, so if someone's in town or traveled out of town, I will always make time. And so that's where like I do monitor the effort. If I'm traveling and someone doesn't go out of their way to see me, I don't keep track, like I don't keep tabs, but I am cognizant of it, of like how much energy is exchanged and is it even enough that I'm okay with it, because I give energy pretty freely, but similarly, like I will always make time for people 10 out of 10 times unless someone has scorned me, and then I am pretty protective of my energy. But the ADHD, the dopamine I get from people is infinitely more than whatever project I'm working on. And I know I have the wherewithal to work late into the night on projects I'm excited about. And so I will lose sleep before I'll give up people, which has been really difficult recently with like business ownership. Is like I've had to kind of stop saying yes to everything, or like to a lot of things socially, which has kind of shaped my brain back into like I don't really drink anymore. Like I do, like when I'm out with friends specifically, I'll go for it. But like there's no like happy hour after work. What are you guys doing? I'm bored. It's like no, I've got so much work to do after work that I'm excited about. It no longer feels like a chore, like, oh, I have to go home and do this thing. It's like, but similarly, I also think I think if you didn't make time for people now, or like if you didn't kind of allocate space for people now, you might have regrets later. But I think because you are making so,
Well,
yeah, tell me.
it's interesting. I'm not money driven.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm people driven in the work that I do. Like I spend a huge amount of effort trying to make people's lives better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like not for the money, but for the effect on those people and their reaction to that. That's what I live for.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I live in a small house and I blow most of my money on investing in OA Robot, which is not a good business decision at all, but it's what I love doing, so I
Yeah,
do it. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
I always joke that I'm antisocial, but I'm actually, anybody who spends time with me, I like people and I'm interested in people, and it's just that um, um, it doesn't um, it doesn't manifest itself in normal social um, type of
Yeah,
things like that. I want to go out and like hang out with people and stuff like that. I'm very like focused.
yeah, absolutely. How
uh,
cool.
yeah.
So, Miss Esther, personally, professionally, do you see and obviously this is within the scope of your version of long-term planning. So 6, 12 months or, that. And maybe professionally, because you have kind of managers, directors. And so some of the long-term strategy is kind of thrust upon you. And some is kind of like within the projects that you work on. And so, in terms of your scope of long-term planning, do you see yourself attacking projects at work or kind of bigger things at work the same way you attack bigger things in your personal life, or same, different, mix between?
I think, I mean, in terms of like long-term planning in a work context, um, I feel like I've kind of like taken a step back on that because I don't really need to plan so much given my current position because I'm happy working at the company I work with and with the sort of progression steps that naturally will occur.
Nice.
Um, Before this, I did sort of have more of a like plan going. I was planning an entirely different career, really. But that just yeah, it didn't work. And then I got this job, and it turns out I really like this job.
Which is so fun.
So I don't plan on going back to my original plan from 2.5 years ago.
God bless.
No reason to do so. Um, and now I'm just kind of letting things happen as they happen. On from a work perspective, I mean, the farthest I really go with long-term planning is, I mean, like I know that I'm moving to London for work for a year, and after that I will come back. Um, and at some point I will probably reattempt the CFA,
Mm.
which is work adjacent but not required for work.
Yeah,
So doesn't affect my progression necessarily, but affects my like knowledge and whatever.
absolutely. How cool. It is kind of nice that sometimes when you release the reins on the plan and just let life happen a little, sometimes it takes you to new trajectories that you couldn't have imagined or didn't quite expect. Um, how interesting. Matthew, are you still on the call?
I'm still here.
First of all, I mean, I know you professionally, but personally, what kind of long-term goals do you got going on? And do you see yourself operating the same way, long-term planning at work versus in your personal life?
My personal life is very dull and chaotic. I pick and choose when I feel like doing things. Uh, uh, Selfishly, probably. Probably not always for the best either, but and a lot of my personal stuff is tied to the professional stuff, as you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is reliant on that. Um, but I've kind of managed to shape what I do into a social aspect of my life and personal life. We get to go do things. Some of the clients send us places that, I personally enjoy. So I get kind of a work and personal pleasure at the same time. But
Hell yeah.
planning wise, like I said, it's kind of my personal life is planned based on the professional life just because um, it's taking up a lot of my time and my income.
Yeah.
So You know,
If you don't have the funds to be able to financially support the goal, like the things you want to do in your personal life, then it's
right,
kind of for naught. And we're
right,
still in like the early startup phase where we're still trying to prove it and get after it.
yeah,
So I feel that, man.
yeah. So that kind of, ties me up on the personal side, but
We're both
I mean,
okay. I'm gonna look up the level 10 framework that Emily talked about, and I'm gonna make you and me do it so we actually have personal goals.
yeah, yeah. I
Cool. Well,
mean,
Emily will
yes,
report back. He's gonna have to fill it out. I'm gonna make him.
The Trello board.
it's
And a
reverse
Trello board.
engineer towards the goal. It's the
Yeah.
name of the game.
We need you healthy and happy enough to keep the business mission going. So we're going to
Yeah,
make it happen. But
yeah.
we'll start with you on this next question. Who or what keeps you honest when you drift away from your long-term goals?
Who or what? I have a couple of people around me that remind me,
Yeah,
uh,
like who?
like you
Thank you.
and Kaylin and everybody, which is good because there are a lot of temps out there that deviate you from the road. But I think a lot of the more successful, I don't know, people or businesses seem to be, more mission focused, whether it's customer focus or service focus or, whatever it may be. It's always a hyper focus on that. It's not a switch to the trend, um,
Yeah,
which is good.
that is good. We'll go reverse order. Esther, when you feel yourself straying from long or short-term goals, who or what keeps you honest when you start drifting?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think until recently, my roommate,
Mm,
I say until recently because I just moved out
yeah,
and we are no longer roommates.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, she will still be my friend and will still,
Pester.
yeah,
Hello, are you doing your thing?
yeah. Um, on different, like, on some things, it's my mom.
Mm,
Um, sometimes it's my boyfriend. Yeah. I think the people I talk to the most tend to be the people who end up, I guess, nudging me the most because they know the most.
yeah, they can see the blind spots while they're happening.
Yeah.
Good. Um, I think this kind of taps back into the conversation we had around accountability and like who keeps us accountable and like the level of respect you have for that person. Because if someone was that I didn't respect was to check back in with me and be like, hey, did you drink your water today and get your steps? Fuck you. I don't care about what you have to say to me right now. I got bigger things going on. And I make the excuses of I am the most professional excuse maker, and I will like there's the I think it's on The Good Place, there's a part where that the Janice robot or Jan or whatever, she's got this function that if they were trying to shut her off, it like she like pretends to be fighting for her life. It's like and she's like very convincing. That's me. When someone I don't respect is trying to keep me accountable to something, I become the Janice robot. Like I'm a professional excuse keeper. Like and I'm very convincing, I think. And then obviously later I find out that everyone knows I'm full of shit. But so Eric, how or what or who keeps you honest when you're drifting from your goals? And I think, yeah, we'll just pose it that way, leave it open ended.
The buck stops here, man. Unfortunately, um, for short-term goals, I hire people that are dedicated to making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or else all of a sudden it'd be like, uh, April 13th, and I'd be like, what? I have to file taxes,
Yeah.
So people that are more focused on when things need to get done, I have staff that does that for work, for work stuff. Um, that's part of the reason that I became a company in the first place, was because I was clearly, as an independent consultant, I was clearly not competent in enough areas to do it all on my own. So I had to hire people to that that filled in my weaknesses, and that's worked well for me over time. And then on the personal side, my wife like tells me what I'm supposed to wear, where I'm supposed to be, like like does all of that stuff for me, so I don't have to do planning. But none of that answers your question because you're asking more about accountability, like longer term. Um, I think that that's just floating, chasing whatever my current strongest dream for the future is. And I'm pretty driven about chasing those dreams. It's just that there's too many of them and they're pull me in different directions.
Which is a great point. Because, well, it's short and long term is if we don't have the complete ability to execute all the things, like getting help outside of yourself is still a great strategy, whether it's paid or married or like whatever it is. Being able to offload a little bit of the parts that we're not good at, I think is still fantastic because it's a strategy that still works really well. And I think as a recovering, highly independent person, or like toxically independent person, like anti-trusting independent person, healing the part of my brain that feels like no one can help me is like a step in that is like asking a friend to do something simple. And this I've taken a bit too far. Matt will attest. I was at the facility and I had trash in my hand and I just handed it directly to him. I go, trash, please. And then like even the littlest things, I'm like, I don't need to walk to the trash can myself. I've got
Trash is
Matthew.
2 feet away.
I know. That was a step too far. We'll take. I reeled it back in after they gave me the dirtiest death glare. They're like, "Are you serious?" We took it too far, but we're recovering. But similarly, floating the chasing dream, like current dream, I'm combining a few ideas here. So last month, Ashley said something really impactful where she was saying, if you don't like the specific word, like let's say discipline, and I don't remember the side word she says, or like compliance. If we don't like compliance, what's like a neighbor word that's a little better and a little worse? So compliance, like instead is consistent or complacent or, and so similarly, I have lost the complete train of thought. Oh, with the big dreams is like, sometimes I think if the dream is not ambiguous enough, and then we go back to the priority matrix of if it's too ambiguous, it gets kind of difficult to start. But I think if you were to look at, I challenge you to write down all of those big dreams that you've thought about in the last, I don't know, 2 years and things that are in your perspective lanes for the next 5, 10. If you were to take the similar themes of those things, probably would come down to like helping people do more with less, or helping people do like reduce the cognitive load to do X or something. If you were to categorize what the overarching themes of all of those, that becomes then your North Star. And then each of these dreams become kind of, whether they are in sequential order or similar, swim lanes towards that same goal. I'd be interested to see what your like total North Star would be, because really that's like the long term, and then the midterm would be something else. Okay, I have spoken too long, but interesting perspective, and I thank you for sharing that. Miss Emily, who keeps you honest? Who or what? And I think those Trello boards are going to be with the what, but who or what keeps you honest when you start to drift?
Yeah, no, I don't really have anyone who keeps me focused. That's really on me. What I do have is people who wave the flag and go, okay, you're going nuts here on this. Like, let it go. This is not, if I'm working myself up and I'm like overly focused and stressing myself out about, getting this done again on beating my 5-year goal by a week, like who cares? So yeah, my family will definitely do that. And actually, at one point, my doctor did. And so I'd had some pretty bad health problems, and then later on, like I was just I was just miserable at work and I went in for something else. And he's just like, he's looking at me and he's like, look, why are you still there? You've been through way too much to put up with this.
Wow.
And that was like, okay, that's right. And I'm done. And then I wrote up my letter and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. This is not making me happy. I hadn't been pushing like growth because it wasn't what was important. It was because I was happy and I was doing what I really enjoyed doing. And I'm not someone, again, like who really cares about what the title is or the position is. As long as you give me cool, fun things to do and the freedom to do them the way I want to do them. Like that's what I wanted to do. And then that was kind of being taken away. And so I'm like, okay, so now I don't have the position and I don't have the fun job and I'm feeling crummy every Monday morning when I go in. You're like, why? Okay, bye. Like that's it. There was, but it took a long time to realize that I was going down a dead end because it had been so fun for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So that's, I find what I need more is not the guidance but just, when I'm going off the rails.
Yeah. Almost like going too, yeah. Like instead of like when you like drift away rather than when you're too locked in and it's starting to detract from everything else. That's interesting. And it's really interesting that your doctor, like that it was a kind of unexpected source of insight.
Yeah. Well, especially because he was like, he was really kind of, in most cases, really, sort of old school and is like, no, you're fine. There's nothing wrong here. And so he really wasn't the kind of person that I would have thought would have come up with, no, you're, with that sort of observation as to, but he was completely right,
Yeah. Absolutely. I think sometimes similarly to when you get a compliment that you hear secondarily, like if like, for instance, if Eric, you said to Emily, man, Amber's really rocking this interview. But if I was to hear that later, that almost means more than hearing it directly sometimes. And so similarly, like when you get life advice from the like wisdom from the universe that you didn't ask for, or like it comes in a weird avenue, like guy at the grocery store says something crazy like, you look really tired, something, it comes from an unexpected place, almost feels more impactful than like if I was I talk to my friends like, Amber, you work so much or you work too much or whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like they don't understand my trife. But if my doctor or like if there was someone unexpected that either didn't have nearly enough context to be able to understand but could see it on me, or similarly someone who knows me super well but never speaks up on it was to give advice, I think that would crack my ass. But then I'm like thinking through my kind of support network, the people that see me, the people that don't see me. I think I might take like a little inventory on that. But cool thing, my friend Brian, love him, he'll be at the Excel conference in December. He did this thing through a U of M it's called like Great Stories or something, like where people basically you can send an email list of people where they like people have to write 3 big long stories about specific personality traits. Like the best version of Brian is like this, and I interacted with the best version of Brian in this way, and here's some characteristics that he brings out in me. And like it was a cool way to collect feedback about yourself or like kind of collect info on your blind spots that you might not have before, which has almost nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. But I thought it was cool, and I think it should be a little bit more normalized to like collect feedback from friends. It's like, hi, do I look like a happy person? Like, could someone give me some feedback on or like being able to look outside of yourself to get feedback on what's going on? Because I think we live in our own domes so often. But that was a whole half a thought. But we're wrapping up the hour for the next month. What are our goals? I think, Emily, I saw that you've always got oodles of goals, but I saw you wanted to get better at your Excel speed. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, I've got doing cases in September.
Awesome.
Yep.
I also will be practicing, and at least I think for offset each week I'll be like practicing cases and then like learning more strategies and watching videos. So super stoked for us. Esther, I think your goal is just moving safely, right? Or what goal do you have?
No, my goal for September is to try alternative solving strategies on 4 different MEWC cases. So cases that I've done before, but
Cool.
trying to do it differently.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that might end up looking like me doing those, while you're doing your
Yes,
thing.
absolutely. If there's times during Off Stars with Amber where you guys want to do honestly, if you want to do like week 2 and week 3, and honestly, we could do 3 test battles live if you want to. Could be crazy. Okay, Eric, what do you got going on this month other than surviving?
Definitely surviving. I think the things that I'd like to do are different than the things I should be doing. I would like to spend more time practicing cases. I keep saying that and then I don't do it. But right now, for on the work side, I'm trying to learn about MCP servers. Those are it's AI. It's when you ask AI to do something and they have tools available to them in order to do stuff on your behalf. So it's like creating agents that are doing your AI and they're interacting with these MCP servers. So I'm learning about that and I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that into OA Robot so that in addition to creating robot commands out of AI prompts, which you can do now, I want to make it so that from Robot you can trigger agents to do stuff on your behalf outside of Excel.
Wow.
Because right now the AI prompts, as these models get bigger and better, they also take longer. And the way OA Robot works is when you run a command, it's waiting for that command to finish so that it can run more commands after that because you can string them along in a sequence. So that works fine if you ask AI for something that only takes 5 seconds to respond. But if it takes 2 minutes to respond, nobody wants to sit and stare at their Excel like chunking away at something and not be able to continue working. So
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to make it so that it's doing that kind of offline and then can pick up back when it's kind of done. So from a business standpoint, I have a client that I'm trying to apply that to, so it makes sense to incorporate that into OA Robot.
Wow. That is such a crazy complex goal, and I'm so excited for you. On the personal goal, if you'd like to do some practice cases on Monday nights, we will be doing practice. It sounds like the 4 of us have some practicing to do this month. So
I would do it. I would feel safe in exposing my lameness to this group.
God bless. Thankfully, you guys won't have to share your screens for all of this like live. I'll just be doing mine live, but we could still debrief normally on the call after, which will be fun. Cool. Matthew, what is your goal for this month? This next month?
Goal for this month, survive it and close some deals and just keep steering the ship towards the horizon,
Profitability.
I suppose.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
Which is profitability.
The peachiest. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. For anyone watching on YouTube, God bless. Thanks for being here. But we will catch you next week for Excel Esports.